Well, hello. That is a weird intro. I don't usually say the word hello. In today's video, I want to talk about Facebook ads, which are now called Meta ads. But I always think of them as Facebook ads still. Basically, 8 months ago, I made a video where I walked through some of the results that I got for a Facebook ads campaign and specifically how those results translated onto Spotify. And I will throw a link somewhere here on the screen that has that previous video. But the long story short of that video is that there were results from the campaign that I ran on Spotify. But in the 8 months since I filmed that video, I've actually run a ton more ad campaigns and collected a ton more data. I actually stopped offering PR as a service for my marketing agency, Two Story Media, and I've since been offering Meta ads as a service to Spotify. And basically, I've been able to just run a bunch of campaigns, and I have a lot more thoughts on what works and what kind of results you can expect. And that second part is what I want to talk about today, because pretty much the most common question that I get when I talk to people who are thinking about spending money with me to run ads is, okay, but how many streams will I get on Spotify? Which, totally fair question. The short answer is that it's really hard to answer that question, at least to a satisfactory level, because there's just a very wide range of variance. But the longer answer is what I'm going to break down in this video. So I'm going to walk through data from some of my real life campaigns and give you an idea of what the levers are that impact how many streams you'll get from a Meta ads campaign, and hopefully just some idea of what you can expect if you do end up running one of these promotions. So with that said, let's flip over to the computer screen and get into it. Okay, actually, before I flip around to the computer screen, I just want to take a moment and recognize what you are probably thinking if you have watched one of my videos within the last month. Yes, the tree has died. Thank you for everyone who gave tips on what to do, how often to water. There was good stuff, and I legitimately appreciated it. Unfortunately, the leaves just continued to fall off one by one. And yeah, our tree has since passed on back into the earth. So I just wanted to take a moment of silence in this video to remember tree. I'm probably going to get another tree soon. So, with that all said, let's turn around to the computer screen and I will walk you through the factors that impact how many streams you can get from a Meta ads campaign. All right, welcome to the old computer screen. Fun fact here, I got a new microphone. Let me know how the volume sounds on this. If it's weird, just send me hate mail. Anyway, I've made another impressive PowerPoint for you guys to walk through how many streams you can expect from Meta ads. It's 2 slides, white words on a black background. Let's dig in. So here's what I've come up with based on the campaigns that I've run. I see 4 main factors in how many streams you ultimately get. And they're here on the screen, but I'll just read them for you. How much money you spend, how many results you get per dollar, or cost per result, however you want to break that down, the number of streams per listener, and then the effect that Spotify's algorithm has on basically taking your music to the next level and putting it in front of more people. So to help you kind of play out how those factors would actually tangibly impact the number of streams you could expect to get, I put together a spreadsheet based on some real campaign data, and you can check this out for free if you go to my site. It's like the sales page, but if you go down to Spotify promotion and then the C campaign data section, it opens this spreadsheet. So this just gives those numbers, those factors, some actual context. So I'm just going to walk through with literal numbers how some of these results play out in actual streams. So obviously the first factor is how much you spend. I have 3 different packages, default packages available. So the lowest one is $500. And if you're spending $500, obviously you're not going to get as many streams as you would if you were spending $5,000, all things being equal. Pretty simple. The second factor is cost per result. There's a ton of stuff that impacts this. Generally, the tighter your targeting is, or the narrower your targeting is, the more expensive your cost per result will be. If you're just targeting a single city in the US, it's probably going to be more than 64 cents. If you're opening it up to literally anyone, you might be able to get it under 20 cents. And then obviously the creative itself is a huge factor in how well your ads perform. But basically this is all the things that are going on in the meta system to influence how likely people are to actually click your ads and the landing page. So this is one of my all-time worst campaign results after 1 month. This is one of my all-time best campaign results after 1 month. And this is just kind of an average. Campaign's not doing awful, not doing great. Now let me give you an idea of how these play out in terms of the listeners, because I think that'll help it make more sense. So if you were spending $500 and every click on your landing page costs you 64 cents, then you can expect to get roughly 781 listeners. And there will be some discrepancy here. Usually there's discrepancy in how Facebook tracks the clicks versus how your landing page software like Hyped or Toned or whatever tracks the clicks. And then there's also maybe not everyone who clicks the landing page turns into a listener. But generally how it works is the people who click on the landing page listen to the music, and so they become a listener. And so this can give you a rough idea of, at this spend with this cost per result, here's how many listeners I could expect to get in a given month. And so I'll just drag that down. Okay. Then the next factor isn't really directly related to your ads. It's more directly to how well your song is actually performing. So you could have an ad on Meta that's awesome, really interesting, visually compelling, gets people to click. But then if people are hitting the ad, streaming the song one time and never streaming it again, then you're not going to get very many streams, even if your ads are performing great on the front side. On the other side, if you have like kind of mediocre ad results, but your song absolutely slaps, and once people hear it, they play it 6 times, then you don't even have to have a great cost per result to get a bunch of actual streams. But you can just see how these numbers play out. Again, this was one of my really good campaigns, and if you were spending $500 at 20 cents a result, you're getting about 2,500 listeners, and they're streaming your song 6 times in a month, then you're getting 15,000 streams. Whereas if you're getting 64 cents per result and your song is only getting 2 streams a listener, not as much engagement, you're only getting 1,500 streams. Obviously, there's a huge gap between 1,500 and 15,000 streams for the same ad spend. And this is why it's hard to nail down the answer to the question, but hopefully this gives you an idea of the range. And then just to carry it all the way through, I mean, most of you probably don't have a $5,000 ad budget. I do not have a $5,000 ad budget. But if you are paying $5,000 a month, you're getting a good result, and your song slaps, people are listening to it a bunch of times, then these are the sort of numbers you might expect to see for a higher performing campaign. And then the final factor that isn't really represented in those numbers is the longer term effects of Spotify's algorithm. So typically you'll hear this number thrown around. Once you get 9,000 to 10,000 streams at a 10% save rate over a 28-day period, you can usually expect to see some Discover Weekly push. You also see some radio growth. So those streams typically continue over the longer term. So even after you shut the campaign off, you can kind of attribute those longer term streams to the money that you spent on ads. So hopefully this spreadsheet is helpful. You can just play with the numbers yourself. Obviously, like just throw these in, you can make a copy, I guess, or throw the numbers in an Excel sheet and get an idea of if your campaign performs at certain levels and if your song gets certain numbers of repeat listeners. Then you can kind of figure out how many streams you'll get. Okay, so those are the factors in play that will impact how many streams you get from a Meta Ads campaign. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer in the comments. And if you want to see an example of this type of campaign that I ran, again, about 8 months ago, feel free to click this video. I'll put it somewhere on the screen, and then I'll put another video that is hopefully related. But appreciate you watching, as always, and good luck marketing your music.